Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ilyas from the Department of Education, Hazara University, Mansehra. Research is a process of structuring and the outcomes of research, and some of the outcomes of research are actually in the form of research papers, is again a process of structuring. Despite the importance of structuring in the process of academic writing, especially research paper writing, many junior researchers and research students find it difficult to structure the research papers, which is often a prerequisite for their degrees and a part of their academic research process. So, in this particular presentation, I would like to discuss one of the structures, one of the ways in which PhD students and research students or junior researchers can actually come up with a structure of their research and could understand the process of structuring their research paper. So here we go. In this particular presentation, I would like you to actually think about structuring your research in the form of questions and actually asking questions of yourself as researchers. These questions are the what question, the why question, the how, and the what again, and the so what. So, what is it that you are actually presenting in the form of your research paper? That actually is a kind of introduction to the topic that you are presenting in your research paper. The why. Why is it that you have done this particular research? In other words, the significance or the rationale of the research that you are actually presenting in this paper, and maybe the research questions or objectives of the research will be covered in this one. Then the how is actually related to how the research was conducted or the methodology of the research. And then what was found actually as a result of this particular research, that should be included in the research paper. And the so what actually is, so what is the outcome of your research, or what do you actually conclude from your research, what are the implications of your research? These are some of the questions in which actually can help you in structuring your research paper. And so let's explore some of these questions in more detail. The what and so what. What is it that you wanted to explore? Which will be like introduction to your research, giving the background of your research, your research objectives, and the main research questions will be covered in this particular in response to this particular question. Similarly, what others have explored, or what are their findings, and what are the implications of the findings of other researchers. This will also be covered in the what question, and so this is something in which to which the researcher will respond to, like the section called literature review. And then the what methodology has been adopted for this study. Again, this comes in the what of the questions that we need to ask. And so this responds to the methodological considerations. Then the so what actually comes in the form of the question, what has been found, or what are the findings and results of the study that you have conducted. And then what are the implications of your study, which actually means you have to discuss your findings and your conclusions in the light of the findings of other researchers that you have studied for this particular paper. And then what may be done in the light of what has been found. This actually might be responded to in the recommendation section of your particular research paper. So while you are recommending, you will be looking at your findings and the findings of others, and so by identifying that particular gap that you have actually tried to fill through your research, you will be giving your recommendations in this particular section and in response to this particular question. So let's move on to the why question. This is one of the most important questions that actually you need to ask as a researcher when you are organizing your research paper. And so, why you wanted to explore what you explored? This is something that you will respond to in the rationale and also in the significance part of your study. Why you adopted this particular methodology, design, data collection, and analysis processes. So again, you have to respond to these. You have to give it in your methodology section, not just how you conducted your study, but also why you actually adopted a particular design or data collection and analysis processes or methods. And then why the findings and why their significance. So it's not just what your findings are, but also you have to critically look at your findings in this particular section of your paper, and also to present the significance of your findings. And then you have come up with certain conclusions in your study. So the why question in that particular the part called the conclusion or discussion and conclusion part, you should also rationalize your conclusion and discussion. And so your discussion and conclusion part is not just a descriptive presentation of what you have found, but also uh, maybe rationalization and critically looking at your own findings and discussing those findings and coming up at conclusions in a more critical way. And so this will be a very important aspect of structuring your research paper by asking this why question. And then the how actually is the methodological considerations that you must refer to in your research paper. So how was the research design implemented? Research design, the practical considerations that were taken during the practical steps that were taken, and the considerations behind those practical steps in the research paper, in the research process. How was data collected? Which actually, how was the sample selected? How was access obtained or secured? And how was the whole process of research conducted? This should also be part of the research paper. And then how was the data analyzed? So the data analysis processes are also important to be included in the research paper. How were the data collection and analysis processes validated? In other words, the validity, reliability, and ethical considerations should also be part of the research paper. So basically, the research paper is about what you did, um, how you did what you did, why you did what you did, and what were actually the different justifications of what you did, how you did, and why you did it. So when you ask these fundamental questions of what, how, why, and so what, this will actually give structure to your research paper, and also it will make the research process and the writing process more critical. So I hope this brief presentation might have actually clarified some of the aspects of writing a research paper and how actually researchers, especially more experienced researchers, write their papers. They're actually asking these questions of themselves at the different stages of the writing process of the research paper, and these questions actually give structure to the various parts of the research paper, and so an overall organization can be found in the research papers that we see in more authentic and uh, more authentic research journals. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have questions, please feel free to ask in the comment section. Take care. Bye.